Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing a flip through of last year's journal and checking out my new journal. Alright, so before we get into anything bookish, first make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments, do you keep a reading journal? I feel like there's been a resurgence of them lately. I've seen a lot of people posting their new journal for 2024, and so I'm really curious, how many of us actually keep track of one nowadays? So this is my journal for the entirety of 2023. You've seen many shots of it. I've started to include my spreads within my monthly resets that I've been posting. I didn't have one for January. I hopefully will be back on those in February. This baby has gotten a lot of love. Definitely gonna take up some room whenever I add her to the stack of completed journals. To start things out, I thought it'd be fun to do a completed flip through. I'll put a timestamp down below for the start introducing my new journals for 2024 if you don't want to watch the entirety of the walkthrough, but I definitely think you should at least stick around for the completed annual spreads. Starting out, grid spacing, as per usual. My adorable kitty sticky note is covering up some personal information. I still love this blue style. I think blue, well, I mean, first off, if you've looked at my channel, I think you can tell I love the color blue. But second, it always ends up being the color I choose for January. Not sure why, just does. Maybe it's because of winter. Obviously, I colored in all 120 of these little boxes. I still can't believe I actually made a page just for this, but I will say it is very satisfying to fill one in every single time you finish a book. Then I have my favorites of 2023. These photos were not quite the size I originally was anticipating when I drew these out, but you know, c'est la vie. Once again, I don't know why I included December on here, because December is my reread month every year. So every book I read for that month is gonna be a favorite, seeing as how I'm rereading them. It does kind of make me laugh though, looking at this list, because a few of these books weren't on my best of 2023, but they were definitely the best books I read in those months. However, some months I just really had phenomenal reading months. Then we have my series tracker, which is not as completed as I would like for it to be, but it is pretty completed. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3. Technically, I'm caught up here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 completed series, and this is so satisfying. I love seeing this one. Then my books read shelf. This down here was my 10 books to get read in 2023. And unfortunately, I still had 3 books left unread. So those have since been rolled over into 2024's TBR. Yeah, hopefully they'll actually get read this year. The color for each book is based on my rating. So obviously there's a fair amount of purple, which makes me so incredibly happy. I did have a little bit of overlap to this next page, so I'm glad I included a few extras. Then my art tracker, which went pretty well. These 3 books all come out in 2024. I was approved for them at the end of 2023, but I probably won't be reading them until it's closer to these publication dates. All right, and then let's jump into my monthly spreads. I do love revisiting these and seeing like the different themes I had. This one I still think came out pretty well. I'm not like super artistic, but you know, across the board, I think it turned out pretty great. Had a lot of DNFs at the beginning of the year. This is back when I was getting pip sticks every single month, and I would include the little labeling for each sticker sheet that I got. Ooh, my inverses out was not good this month. Ended with a +4. Yikes. I also really appreciate getting to look back on these favorites pages. And then of course getting to check out all of the little like stickers and memory pieces that I put in here. I don't think I had a ton in January, mostly stickers. Oh, and I got an arc of Yours Truly, which turned out to be a letdown. This little sushi Lego piece that Josh and I got from our favorite revolving sushi bar. This is a haunted house that we like to go to, and they were doing this like tag game where you try to make it through alive, but basically if you reacted to them, they would slap a sticker on you and that means you died. I actually died 3 times, which I think is pretty impressive. My pipstick, what do you call this? Postcard, that's the word for the month. Oh, that's funny. These are actually the colors that I found for my kitchen, and ironically, I did end up coming back to these colors. So this is my walls, this is my cabinets. our snowstorm, like I said, at the end of January. My February spreads, which I'm still in love with these. These were so good. I'm very, very proud of how these turned out. They looked phenomenal, in my opinion, at least. I like this on my completed TBR, doing little arrows. I'm still proud of myself for coming up with that. That was really clever. This is a better in versus out page. -2. I mean, that still puts us at a +2 in the end, but you know, that's a little bit better. Oh, buffalo cauliflower bites. Haven't had any of those in a while. This is from a mini golf place that Josh and I went with his family and played. Just a random postcard that I got, and then Josh's Valentine's Day card to me, which I still think is really cute. When we went to go see Quantumania and they had these like tiny little menus and a little magnifying glass for it, I still think this is just the cutest thing ever. Oh, I forgot about this. If I get like big stickers, but I don't actively have a place to put them, like on a water bottle or my laptop or something, I'll just kind of like glue the whole thing into my journal so I can still go back and use them. This one's so cute. I love it. It's the little boba couple. This cactus that one's really pretty also. Pipstick card, random blank page, and then my March spreads. This one also came out pretty well. I was really liking to try and utilize my pipsticks within some sort of a theme. This is when I was like really just going all out for my journal, and I'm still impressed with it looking back. Fun fact, this Marvel trivia that I went to with a friend at a bar, I think we won like all 3 rounds. We got an appetizer for free, and then I think technically we got a dessert for free, and then for the 3rd one, they were like, okay, we can't give you any more free food, and so they just docked one of our drinks. Oh, looking back on Clytemnestra by Costanza Casati, I definitely want to get a copy of this and reread it so I can go through and annotate, because it had some really gorgeous writing in there. I still think this is like one of my favorite pipsticks because it was like guys with flowers in their beards, and it's so random, but it's so adorable. Oh, look at that. Another in versus out was a -2, so that means technically for the year in the books I was counting, we're 0. It's pretty good. Then You'll Never Believe What Happened to 𝗖cie was my best book of this month. I absolutely recommend this one. It's so freaking funny. Please listen to the audiobook if you read it. It's hilarious. Wristband from the arcade that Josh and I like to go to. This was whenever we went to the Dallas Museum of Art for that TJ Klune event. These were like from my Pipsticks little booklet that they send, and I just ended up utilizing it in here because I thought the little snail was really cute, and I liked this color scheme. Very 70s. And then April, I also am crazy about these. This one, my inspiration was because of Realmathon, and because I was partaking in the fantasy team, I really wanted to have a fantastical theme for the month, especially seeing as how I think I read almost all fantasy that month. Oh, another +2, so we're doing pretty good. And then my wrap up, which literally went past my wrap up page and had to be utilized on my brain dump also. Very satisfying to see. Oh yeah, Licorice Recoil. I forgot about this TV show. This is the anime that Josh and I fell in love with. We need to check out when season 2 comes out in that. Ziplining event that Josh and I went to at this wildlife sanctuary, as you can see. It was a bit of a drive, but it was pretty fun. Sometimes they do like different events like that, and the ziplining one was pretty great. I think we were just talking about maybe trying to go to this like night hike one that they have coming up. Another little freebie that we got from our favorite sushi restaurant, and then this was for the Pocket Sandwich Theater that we went to with Josh's parents, and it was a lot of fun. This was a popcorn thrower comedy, so you can throw popcorn at the actors on stage. It just always adds to the experience. It's ridiculous, but it makes it so much more entertaining. But the show itself was also just very funny. Another random blank page. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm apparently really bad at turning pages, seeing as how I have all these blanks in here. Of course, my Star Wars spreads, which are just required for May because May the Force read with you. May the Force be with you, but also May the Force read with you, which is the readathon I partake in May. Specifically, this month, my focus was on the Star Wars Rebels, which I still love these. And this was a awesome in versus out. I mean, -7, didn't haul any new books. That's fantastic. And a completely filled wrap-up page too. Ugh. See, this is why I like flipping through my journals. This is to see satisfying stuff like that. My little niece absolutely fell in love with Bowser this month, and it's still the cutest thing ever. The Peaches song from the Super Mario movie, if you sing it to her, she just gets super smiley and giggly. It's adorable. Josh and I went to the Renaissance Fair, that's what it was. And this was our photo thingy. I don't think we actually went and bought it, but I saved the ticket. And then these are some postcards that I bought while we were there. These are both hand-drawn, which is super cool. Of course, for June, have to do rainbow. It's just required, especially whenever I read as many queer books as I do in June. And this is why I love having a rainbow theme, because this Pages Red looks so great with the rainbow setup. And this month, it actually worked perfectly because it goes exactly from starting on red to ending on purple. Although my favorite lines is shockingly empty. Ooh, okay, so our -7 last month did not work out because we had a +6 this month. Yeah, this was a challenge page from my library because a book picked from one of the librarians, but I didn't know what I was gonna read, so I took the entire page and like went through and marked off which ones I was interested in, which ones I had already read, which was a lot of them. When I got my Pila case for my phone, it's a little discolored now, but I still have it. Once again, see? I don't know why, sometimes I'm really bad at skipping a page. Screaming, Crying, Singing 22 with Allie and Catherine in Cincinnati, because I realized the last time we were in Cincinnati, we were 22, and that had been so many years. Surprising moment that hit me in the feels. There's a little card I got from my grandma. Josh went to this event and got this sticker, and he was like, I feel like you'll appreciate this, so I decided to include it in here. And then of course my Taylor Swift wristband. Good times. Makes me a little sad looking back. July. These are like the most simplistic spreads I have in the entire journal because I didn't have time, but I wanted to have my spreads. Another -2 on my in versus out. You would not think that my TBR had raised as much as it has this year when looking at this. But to be fair, when it comes to these, this is only for books I buy myself that goes on the N. The out is obviously every book that I read off of my own TBR, but if it's a gift, I don't count it in here because I didn't spend that money. Somebody else did and was a kind person. Or if I borrow a book. Well, that one obviously, it doesn't stay on my shelves. It gets added to my own TBR, but it doesn't stay on my shelves forever. This makes me laugh immensely. Angel rewatch again, because it's one of my most rewatched TV shows. When we went to visit Louisville while I was up there with my girls, oh no, my little, technically it was a keychain, but like I didn't really want to use it as a keychain, so I just decided to include this little guy in here. And then another pocket sandwich theater program. This one was for Captain Blood, also a comedy, also a popcorn thriller, which was really funny because a lot of times they would be sitting at a bar and everybody would like try and throw popcorn to get it in the mugs or the steins, and then at the end of each scene when they would do that, all of the actors would just like dump all of the popcorn on the audience. This was when I was trying to figure out what color I wanted to paint my bedroom in the house, so like I had all these different color variations. I wanted it to be something like whitish gray sort of style. I don't actually think we went with any of these. I think I went with something else. Another knickknack from our sushi place. I think Josh actually ended up taking these, or my niece did? I don't remember. This was a whole lot of planning, as you can see. Random planning because my brain won't shut up. Sometimes you just need that. Oh yeah, this is when I rescued a possum and I took it to this wildlife center so they could heal him back. I think he was just dehydrated in the end, thankfully. or this is from when Josh and I went for a hike. Pretty freaking warm, but we had a good time. If I remember correctly, yeah, we did Fire Road, which was this one down here. And we also were getting covered in spider webs because we were the first hikers of the day. My August spreads, which looking back on these, I think I could have done better. I probably should have not done this, but oh well. Live and learn. Very satisfying. 4,705 pages read for the month. Arteries are for losers. I don't remember the context of this quote. Ooh, once again, my inverse is out. Very satisfying. Came out to a total of -6. A completely filled wrap up once again. And this is when we went to see the Barbie movie. Quick sneak peek. This is in my new journal. And then the full moon readathon, which Jan was already asking us questions about it in the layer. So, you know, it's not my Patreon, but I'm gonna give her props for it and advertise it for her. Definitely join if you can, because it's so much fun. This time when we went to our sushi restaurant, we got these little magnets. I think this first one we got Batman and Joker, and then eventually we got Superman and Supergirl. I just flipped those. My nephew loves playing with them whenever they come to visit. This was when I was getting ready to move. Another arcade visit, a giant to-do list. I think this was a thank you card from my boss. And then I just liked this little Starbucks card. I used up all the money on it, but I thought the Starbucks card itself was really cute, so I just pasted it in here. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Josh and I went to this super funky art exhibit museum thing. It felt like such a weird time, and I had to buy a sticker to commemorate it. And then again, me not knowing how to turn the page. And then diving into September, I really just wanted the opportunity to use these little cross-stitch stickers. And my most successful reading month, 6,173 pages. With 22 books on my wrap-up. That's why it's continuing over to the brain dump. And my inverse is out, came out to a total of -5. Man, that is... Oh, love seeing that. Love seeing these super high numbers. And apparently for some reason I just didn't fill in my favorites that month. This is when Josh and I tried HelloFresh for the first time. Went to go visit another state park. Oh, this was when I did my switching screen time for reading time. So this is all my math. I also considered doing the reading a page for every single time I pick up my phone, but didn't end up doing it that time. Here's a sticker from a boba place, another magnet sheet. I think my mom got a Yeti and they gave her a ton of stickers. I also got these cute stickers from a Pango order. And then my October spreads, I do love these. I love how these came out. My TBR was so uncompleted, but to be fair, I mostly was focusing on Spookopoly, picking my TBR for the month. And this time it actually worked out that I can't turn properly because I had a little bit more room on my quotes page. Another very satisfying inverse is out, and this one, didn't even stay on there technically. And then unfortunately I did not watch all 31 movies for 31 days of October. I got pretty close. I watched a few for the first time, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'd actually never seen that. Josh and I watched Bodies, which was so weird, but I have to say, the twist at the end was pretty clever. The Menu, that was wild, but really good. The acting was impeccable. Werewolves Within, ridiculous funny time. I think that's about it. I think everything else here we'd seen before. Oh, Hotel Transylvania 4. I kind of watched it. I put it on, but I didn't pay a ton of attention. We went to a haunted house that was actually hosted at the Renaissance Fair, and I just really liked this guy's card. This was a little thank you gift I got from HelloFresh. It was actually a tote bag, but I glued that in here. Another haunted house, and then this is supposed to be a magnet, also from our favorite sushi restaurant, but for some reason this one's not magnetic. This was a birthday card from my parents. And then a birthday card from my grandma. I think this one might have been from my aunt. Yes, this one was from my aunt. This was this little quote thingy, I guess, from when my boss took me out to lunch. Another haunted house we went to, and they gave you 3D glasses, but like all of the paintings on the walls were in black light neon colors, so you know it kind of looks extra wonky when you have 3D glasses. And then another really cute card from one of the vendors there. And then finally a birthday card from my other aunt. Diving into November, we are almost to the end, y'all. So this one's really satisfying to look at. The only book that was not completed was Systems Collapse, and I've since read that in January. This one was pretty even in versus out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, -1 technically. So again, you wouldn't think my own TBR has increased as much as it has in this year, but it's definitely about 20 books higher than it was last year. Oh, see, here's another one. This one also didn't magnet. I don't know why. This time my mom and I went to this restaurant. Oh, this was when I attempted to do reading a page for every time I picked up my phone, and it did not work out well. Yeah, that video got scrapped, so I'll try again in the future. I don't remember what this was for a video that'll be coming later this year, so I'm not gonna show that. Here's some more little figurines. I think we got this one, and it's currently sitting on my DVD shelf. Happy Thanksgiving card from my aunt. And then I was having a rough day and Josh bought me my emotional support strawberries. They're like an actual little stuffy thing. Then they're so stinking cute. My niece and nephew love playing with them when they come over to my house, but I just glued this in here, and they actually all have names, which I found absolutely hilarious. And I did not do much journaling in November, apparently. Finally, December. So saw these relatively recently in my December reset. Huge deal that I'm going to show the gifts page because Christmas has officially passed, although some of those actually changed. As you can see, my TBR did not go according to plan. I had a really, really insane December when it comes to my personal life, so I only got 2 books read. My pages read is a lot smaller than I would like for it to be, which does make me a bit sad, but at the same time, I mean, life is life. It's not always going to go easy. I did buy 3 books myself in December that I probably shouldn't have, especially seeing as how I was very kindly gifted many a books. And like I said, I only technically got 2 books read. I started into a 3rd, but didn't get super far. This is like from some light events that we went to, and also didn't really journal a lot. One final wristband from an arcade, and I think, yeah, that's officially it. Thankfully, I didn't have much of this empty at the end of the year, so I don't feel like I'm wasting a lot of paper. Thank you guys for walking through that giant journal with me, because oh my God, this thing is gigantic. I am going to continue keeping a reading journal, but I'm probably not really going to be doing spreads like I've done in the past. Unfortunately, my inspiration when it comes to journaling kind of comes and goes in waves, and lately I just really have not been feeling it. So on that note, I actually am going to go back to my setup I had 3 years ago, I guess, in which I have a personal journal as well as a reading journal. And so for my reading journal, I actually ended up getting the one that Hannah at A Clockwork Reader created, because A, she's one of my all-time favorite booktubers. She is the booktuber who got me into booktube in the first place. And B, out of the ones I had looked at, I enjoyed the setup she had the most, and I felt like it was one that I could most customize if I wanted to. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Starting on the favorite books page, I'm gonna skip over a lot of the intro pages, but for this one, I can easily go in and put my favorite book for every single month. I think actually there's 14, 15. Oh, okay, yeah, there are 15 in all, more than one a month. If I happen to have some other favorite books or like multiples in a single month, I can easily add those here. Next, we have the reading goals and my reading stats. So reading goals, I talked about some of these in my Bringing in the New Year book tag, but stay on top series, start into the Star Wars canon books, mood read more, host reading sprints monthly, actually read my 10 books for 2024 and my 12 recommendations by 12 friends. Goal for the year, I'm gonna put actually at 130. I think I said 135 in my video, but I decided to stick with 130. And then at the end of the year, obviously I can fill in all of this stuff down here. My to be read list. I am gonna go through and use a different colored pen for each month, and that's kind of how I'm gonna separate out. And then whenever I finish the book, I can go in and mark it as read. So for example, I actually should have a date listed here, but haven't done that yet. This isn't my entire TBR for the month because there are some books that are definitely more of like, I might get to this, but I might not. However, since I only have a limited amount of space on these to be read list pages, I don't want to put my might be reads. I want to put only the ones I really want to get read every single month. Then these are some like reading prompts that you can use to try and inspire some reading. These are probably going to be something that I'll utilize whenever I'm in the mood to read, but I don't know what to pick up next. So those will work out perfectly. Official reading spread. So this is like a million stickers that I'm gonna try and use whenever I'm doing these reading spreads. I believe there are 100 of these. Probably will do my best to do about one book in each of these. If I read like many books in a manga series or comic series, I might just kind of put those all in one. And then there's some questions to kind of prompt you. Perhaps we'll utilize these, perhaps not. I might change them up depending on like what book it is or why I read it, if I want to like keep track of like the video or something along those lines. There's also this free space if I want to like include in favorite quotes or like any art pieces, anything like that. So I did like this, and I think this will be something to kind of give me the opportunity to think more on the books I'm reading as I'm reading them. I'm very excited to dive into this one and start trying it out. Like I said, I literally just finished my first book of the year, so we'll be completing this first one here soon. Now, diving into the back. So favorite authors, especially as I find new authors that I decide to mark as favorites. There's plenty of room for those. Some favorite quotes. These like I said, I probably will do my best to try and include quotes in on the like traditional single book spreads, but if there are ones that I really feel like hit me in the feels, really strike home, then I'll include those here. And then the one that I've tabbed is the most anticipated book releases. I have not been great about keeping up with anticipated releases in the past, kind of why I've never posted a most anticipated releases video, but I want to get better about this. So I do actually want to utilize it. That's why I have it tabbed so I can easily flip to it, but I need to put those in first. Then books to reread, or as my little sticky note says, this will actually be my December TBR. I only reread in December, so this is something that's easily customizable and fits with what I want. Now we're jumping into some of the ones where I kind of had to do a little actual journaling in here. I think this one was originally like childhood favorites, and I ended up changing it to my 12 books from 12 friends. I used some construction paper and some stickers to cover up, and then white out to remove the age and mark it instead as what friend recommended me that book. This one was for book to movie adaptations, which I'm not super great about keeping on top of anyway, so once again, worked well to change this to 12 recs from 12 friends. This is something I definitely enjoy the most about journaling, is you can customize it however you want. I will keep the favorite movies and TV shows in here. I'm not sure how much I'll use them, especially seeing as how I'm definitely a chronic rewatcher, but Josh and I tend to watch new things together a lot more. Hopefully they'll get filled in. And then like music for reading, I sometimes will have certain books that really remind me of certain songs or vice versa, so I might include those in here. And then lastly is the 10 books for 24. I think this was originally like, where do I get my books? But I rather focus on the 10 books that I want to get read for the year. And then finally is like favorite bookish creators. I might include this in here, but I also was thinking about utilizing this as a way to kind of keep track of video ideas I get from other creators, or maybe like books specifically that I hear about and associate with certain creators that I want to read. That's kind of an idea I might use to change this up slightly. That's it for the reading journal one. As I mentioned, I've just kind of fallen off the artistic side with journaling lately, so this is a little bit more simplistic, already set for me slightly, so hopefully this will go well. Perhaps maybe next year I'll end up doing my own again. We'll see. I still have a ton of journaling supplies. Journaling ebbs and flows. It changes with you, and that's kind of the beauty of it. So that's why this year I'm going back to having a split style. We'll see how it goes. Perhaps I might end up returning to all-in-one. I think the separation will do me good for this year at least. Who knows, maybe I'm saying this and in 6 months I'll end up putting everything back together in a single one. All right, y'all, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you got all the way to the end of this video, leave me a pen emoji in the comments. I have links to all of my socials in the description down below if you're interested in keeping up with what I'm reading. I come out videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!